pretty sure most of us can agree that YouTube goes out of its way to recommend depressing-ass content to us because, number one, it gets clicks from depressed-ass people, and number two, it keeps people engaged. Doomer videos have people flooding the comment section with people commiserating with the content creator about the downtrodden state of the world. I think this has always been a subgenre on YouTube since the earliest days of the website, but something has changed in the air, and I think something also has changed in the algorithm. Like in the past few months, I've noticed a total influx of videos where people film themselves crying in their car, complaining about how AI is replacing their job, how they can't get a girlfriend, or just how their life sucks. They're of course not always in their car, but a lot of them are. Sometimes they're just sitting in their room or somewhere outside, but the theme is always the same and the title is always similar. The formula is typically, I'm such and such years old and I've failed at insert modern struggle here. And some of these videos are legitimate. I mean, my heart goes out to these people if they actually are, but a lot of the time I feel like they're just wannabe influencers who are just hamming up some topic, something they know people typically struggle with, so they know if they catch the right algorithmic wave that the video will get served to a bunch of people who are struggling with that similar thing. And a few years ago, I remember this used to be a very sub-niche thing on the internet. It wasn't as big as it is now. At this point, we need to consider this type of content in its own category and see these people as that brand of influencer. YouTube's slogan used to be broadcast yourself. Now it's more like broadcast your depression. And call it what you will, you might say that it's a symptom of the modern dystopian world we live in, but I'd argue that this is more a trend online than anything else. And not to disregard the struggle, but I think that the way that these videos get made and the inspiration for them is oftentimes people are scrolling through YouTube and they see how successful people are when they have tens of thousands of people who are subscribing to some random dude who was just seemingly organically spilling his guts about his struggles with the world, and now all of a sudden he's an influencer. And this was a cool thing back in the day when it was more organic, like when there was a guy who just randomly put on his camera and decided to reach out for the world, and then the people gathered around him. I mean, that was cool. And back in the golden age of YouTube, some of these small niche communities were actually a cool thing to be a part of. We all knew each other in the comment section. Oftentimes the creator would respond to all of our comments, and we'd gather around this dude while he bettered himself and improved his life. But in current year, there's just something off-putting about seeing people attempting to build their brand using this approach. Like when the depressing ass titles feel like clickbait and the influencer has a bag chaser mentality trying to shill some product to their audience as soon as a few hundred people pop in. What's crazy is that a lot of these people are actually successful in, starting off their influencer career using self-promotion and such, with building their entire brand around being this sad, depressed individual. I suppose there's a big enough audience pool of people out there who just want to hear somebody vent their frustrations about the modern world, and they get something out of just being in a community of people who are all commiserating about how bad things are right now. But when the content creator comes across as fake, there's just something downright diabolical about the whole thing. And I'm sure it attracts the type of person who you wouldn't want leading that sort of movement. Like, this guy wants to be top dog in the depression veneration community. Like, I bet they have their own Mr. Beast of the depression vlogger category who just knows how to game the system and work the algorithm so that he gets the most depressed people in his audience. And then eventually drops that Patreon and all the money just starts flooding in, which at that point it becomes a little bit strange because the person achieves success online, but then they continue to post these videos where all they're doing is complaining about how their life still sucks. I think that's the critical point where the mask either falls off or we see their true colors, because either they're going to continue to placate to their audience and post depressing content, or they'll alienate their audience and they'll be posting videos about how their life's getting better, and a lot of people will move on because all they were there for originally was the depression juice. One example where I feel like it worked out organically was back in the day. There was that guy Never Give Up. This is about 10 years ago, before the depression influencer content creator came into its current form. Bro put on his webcam one day and filmed something that came across like it was from the heart. He was pretty legitimately just venting his struggles about how he feels like he's ugly and women reject him for it. The video went viral organically because it was something brand new that nobody had really ever seen before. A girl actually met him through that video. They got married, and now they have a family with children. Happy ending. But I think the dark side of his success is that a lot of grifters saw his subscriber count and success that he was able to get from that, and their inspiration wasn't to try to find love. These grind set maxers saw the opportunity for monetization. They saw his success and saw dollar signs. Of course, there's no blame at all to be given to Never Give Up. He's just the one who struck gold with this formula. And what happened is it became a formula. It became a strategy to build a personal brand. And from then on, we saw hundreds of videos from people just like him who created videos where they vented about how they felt dissatisfied with their own looks and struggles in the world. Plenty of them were authentic, but there were also a ton of grifters who were just trying to use this formula as a way to create a personal brand and a monetizable strategy, essentially. And the first casualty were the people who were actually legitimately venting their frustrations about the world, because of course the people who knew how to gain the system and work the algorithm were the ones who got boosted to the top. But over the years, that style of content has been optimized and it's been ground down to its core. People have basically optimized out the hopeful elements of it, because sure, everybody loves a happy ending where the person gets their life together in the end, but that's exactly the problem. It's an ending, and this is the internet. There can't be an ending. There needs to be an endless slop dump of repeatable content in a series, in fact, of somebody going off about how their life sucks consistently for years and years with a dedicated audience who they can placate to consistently. So the content style got boiled down to its true form, which was just pure doomerism. And now when you look at this class of content creators, it seems like it's an arms race to see who can post the most depressing content and keep the audience hooked and in tears longest. And a big tragedy in this whole thing is that there's people out there who see this type of content and actually legitimately try to reach out by creating videos and try to build a community around themselves. But more often than not, if they lack that influencer disposition, they're going to be pushed to the bottom of the algorithm, and they're basically going to be speaking into an empty void with, if they're lucky, one or two people in the comment section. And this can't be healthy for the residual effect it has on the audience's mentality at large. Depression maxing and sad boy maxing becomes its own genre of person eventually when this trickles down to the real world and how people conduct themselves in day-to-day life. And YouTube loves it. The algorithm takes it, serves it out to more people, sees people replicate it, evaluates the success, and then spits it out again. What we're left with is a self-replicating cycle of depressive content that basically fills up an entire corner of this website. You've got brain rot engagement bait on one end, and then you have depression core, sitting pretty as the mutated inheritor of the daily vlog style vids we once saw on this side of the internet. You could actually go so far as to say that this form of content has replaced the daily vlogger that was pretty popular back in the early days of YouTube. I think the age of the daily vlogger had its day and then eventually expired because the novelty wore off. Nowadays, everything has to be optimized for the algorithm, and if you don't have a high production budget, then you might as well just turn on your camera and just rant about how shitty the world is. It actually makes sense. I mean, you hit enough of the key notes and then you get plopped in somebody's recommended, and all of a sudden you're an influencer. All you have to do is talk about depressing shit. Now this is the part where I have to say that I'm not hating on the player. I mean, this is the type of stuff that the YouTube algorithm wants to push to the top, so of course there's going to be people who fill the niche, right? So don't hate the player, hate the game. And there's something to be pointed out there. Why is YouTube pushing depressing ass content so hard? Like, I guess they want their audiences to be a little down in the dumps so that they're more open to buy products, but I don't know that for a fact. I mean, obviously the platform has its own agenda and there's a specific reason why they push this type of content, and I don't know because I don't work at YouTube. And of course, this type of video is just one iteration of the depression core content on YouTube. I mean, there's no shortage of doomer shit on here. here. I've spoken at length about how it's become a huge problem in the commentary gaming space on here, but I just wanted to focus on how it's infected the vloggers as well. And you might say that it's just me, it's just my algorithm, and it's based on my watch history, but I've conducted experiments where I've created new channels and found various different ways to see if other people are getting these recommendations. And yeah, you could do these experiments yourself. Just create a brand new YouTube channel, log in on a different browser, clear your history, whatever you want to do, and see what it pops up. I guarantee you, eventually, regardless of what kind of content you're watching, eventually there's going to be a depressing ass video that's going to be haunting your recommendation in the little corner there, and it's going to be tempting you to come join the doomer side of the website. I mean, now that you've watched this video and it has doomer coded in the title, you're most certainly going to be getting recommended some doomer content, but it would happen regardless of what content you're watching. And a lot of other people have pointed this out. I mean, I pointed it out to other content creators as well, trying to tell them, put a positive spin on your videos. And if you want to try to put an end to this, or at least remedy the problem a little bit, just say that as well. I mean, we can only suggest for people, and people are going to do what they want anyway, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with suggesting to people that they should put a positive spin in their videos if they feel so inclined to do so. I mean, they could upload whatever the hell they want, but I guess that's the only solution I could put forth here. And I'm well aware that that suggestion will likely fall on dead ears in a comment section full of people who are just complaining about how the world is coming to an end. And my response to them is, the world is not coming to an end. You woke up this morning, the birds are chirping, and just try to make the best of it. Well, that's about all I have to say for now. Thanks for watching to the end. Let me know in the comments if you feel the same way, if you're frustrated with all the doomer shit on this site. Thanks again for watching. This is Avery Yapps signing out.